Hello, and welcome to the second installation of the ultimate goal of MGTOW. That's what I like to call it. That's the new name of this section, ultimate goal of MGTOW. And all of the following videos pertaining to MGTOW, I would like to touch on a specific topic and elaborate on it as much as I can to get the idea out. Even though I might not cover the whole thing how I see it, as much as I would like to, these videos, I don't want to go too long, even though I can get long-winded. So bear with me. All right. This video, I wanted to address the coming revolution of the male mind and the proper application of male violence and aggression. Violence and aggression. I know a lot of you have been brainwashed to see violence and aggression as bad things. I don't see it that way. In the big picture, in the real picture, which as a MGTOW master philosopher, you will discover violence and aggression, when properly used, when applied in its proper place, is a thing of nature, is a force of nature that will be here forever, as long as the earth is here. And it's up for MGTOW masters to tap into that. So let's get started. I hope the subject is not too abstract, but I'll do my best. And if you see me look to the side, that's because I took a little outline of kind of like what I wanted to cover, so I wouldn't be all random and kind of roaming around. I want to talk about the MGTOW man, the quantum man. Not so much MGTOW man, but the quantum man, or the ultimate man, which is, for me, the real purpose of MGTOW. The ultimate man is mankind, or an individual, striving to be what he ultimately is, beyond society, beyond physicality, and beyond perception. His understanding is very high, higher than usual. And I think that every man alive can achieve this. But you have to shift how you see things right now. You have to radically shift everything and just say, I'm starting from scratch in how I view the world, in my worldview, in order for you to get a good understanding. You don't have to drop everything and forget everything, because that will be your reservoir or your library of which you do your research. You can't forget it even if you wanted to. But because you're going to be drawing from that extensively, and you're going to be drawing from what's happening in your world right now to get a bigger picture. And what I'm trying to explain to you in this video is a hell of a lot bigger than the typical MGTOW video. It is an attempt to relate what I think the goal of MGTOW is, and which is to be the ultimate human being, because it is actually beyond man. You will be more than a man if you embrace this philosophy, I think. So what is a quantum man? A quantum man is beyond man, and he's beyond woman. Well, just think about yourself. This is one of those, this is the shifting your perspective, number one. Shifting your perspective, number one. You have to think about every man is a man and a woman. And every woman is a woman and a man. Just think about that. That's so fucking simple. That I'm not all man because I was born from a woman. There's no line of men giving birth to men. There's no line of women giving birth just to women. Every woman has a father. So she's part man. And every man has a mother. So he's part female or part woman. So you have to understand that to get where I'm going. And that is the duality of the situation. But our flaw in how we think about stuff now is we only see half of the duality. We see number one, but we don't see the rest of the numbers. We don't see two. We see left, but we don't see right. Right. We see black, but we don't see white. We see up without seeing down. But the ultimate man will see up and down, left, right, male, female, and see that as part of himself. It's part of his identity in order to go beyond that. One of the things I wanted to cover is you have to get beyond your maleness. Well, I really don't like phrasing things that way because I don't like telling people what to do. I'll put it this way. I believe that in order for me to become an ultimate human being that I'm striving to be, MGTOW allows me to go beyond the limits or confinements of societal norms. Because as a man going my own way, I have to want to go the ultimate way. There ain't no other way. I can't go the political way or the societal way because those ways are constructed for me as a concept in which I play around in. I'm getting this context bubble of politics, gender roles, this, that, and I have to just swim around in there thinking that that's real. I have to break that and be in a bigger picture. So the first thing a person has to do, now this is no way around it, is you have to break your context bubbles or your memes from which you have built your reality on. For instance, I'll give you one example, just an example. The violence. Now when people think of violence, what do you think of? You think of people killing motherfuckers and death and destruction. Yeah, you can describe that as violence. But to me, that is violence within one of those context bubbles. It is political, racial, religious. It's still in a small bubble. I'm talking about universal violence, universal aggression. And I might add that universal violence is a beautiful thing, and we need it. So before you start typing, what the fuck is he talking about? Let me explain. It is natural to be violent. We need violence. The birth of a child is a violent event. It's painful to the female, nerve-wracking to the man. Sex itself, if you think about the act itself, not anything else, just the act. It is a certain form of violence. You have a penis thrusting into a vagina repetitively until a climax. Scientists say that the universe was born in a Big Bang, which is a violent transition from one state of existence for a universe to another. When you have a new idea, that idea is violently opposed by the old idea, and they must do battle in your mind. as to which will be the new idea. Violence is important to all things new. Hell, every nation is born in violence. Now you could twist it around and say, well, that's wrong. No, the United States would not be here if there was not a violent revolution. China would be a bunch of small kingdoms if one leader didn't violently destroy the others and make one nation. Everything works that way. Everything. All living animated creatures. All of them. Think of one animated living thing that is not violent. Why? Because you have to eat. Everything that's walking around or crawling around or swimming around eats. And that is but it has to kill to eat. No matter what it is. So violence is a natural thing. Predation is a natural thing. Universal violence, not contextual violence, but universal violence is a natural thing. I'll give you an example of how universal violence is beneficial. It is beneficial in the construction of the civilization we have, if you consider it beneficial to be in a civilization, to be in a society. Because all along the way, every year, moment, the new idea is crushing and violently opposing the old idea. I'll give you an example, a physical example. Let's suppose you have an idea of a desk or table in your mind, a chair in your mind. All right. Now to create that chair exists in your imagination, in your thoughts. It's not physically real, but it's real in your mind, sight. What do you have to do to get that chair into the world, to set your ass on it? Well, first, you have to have it solid in your mind until it's ready to give birth and animates you to go chop down a tree or buy wood. But let's suppose you had to kill a tree, saw the tree up. You had to violently chop it down, violently saw it up into manageable pieces, pretty much like chewing and eating. You had to sand it down, and then you had to use nails or glue or whatever to hammer it together. And then, there you go. Violence created that chair you can sit in. Violence, properly applied violence, creates, is the basis of creation. Now that you have a chair, what's next? There must be violence to maintain that creation. Whether it's your body, you go kill a chicken and eat it, or someone else kills it, it's still violent. That chicken still died violently. And even if it was plant life, for all you vegetarians out there, you had to still chop down a vegetable plant or pick something from it, pick fruit from it. Even if it was naturally allowing you to do that. But we can't argue nature. We can't get into those little stupid details. Let's just look at the general sense of what's going on. Now that we have a chair to sit in, violence must be used to maintain that chair. Because over time, there's a sense of atrophy that chair, from use, will start to wear down. So you must get your hammer, and tap, 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 tap. Use violence to fix it back up again. That applies to every nation and every person. You have to eat every day. And that is akin to hammering and fixing up a chair. Nations go to war sometimes to maintain their nation. that is akin to hammering and fixing that chair, that proverbial chair. But it crossed my mind when I was listening to a MGTOW video, and the commentator said, the speaker said that feminists are always talking about the violent nature of man. Men are violent. They're warlike and brutes. And I thought about that. And I thought I would apply a little quantum thought to that. Why is it that feminists can't see the benefits of that violent nature that men have? Why do you think? Just think about that. Why is it that they can't see that this violence that they despise so much in man gives them the time and the freedom and the utensils and the utilities to do the shit they do? I think I know why. I think it is a form of penis envy. Now, I'm going to make I think it would be an inflammatory statement. It's not that inflammatory, but I know women will see it that way. Because damn near every statement a man makes that they don't agree with, they oppose to it violently anyway. So fuck it. I'll say it anyway in this video. Now, all this violent male nature has created, let me go back to the metaphor of the chair. Now, what man does with his violence, properly applied, is he has a good spatial view of the physical reality around him. That's why guys physically can manipulate the physical world very, very easily. That's why guys and our bodies have adjusted to that to make us very, strong and athletic, move throughout the, agile, can move throughout the physical world very, very easy. But it has also allowed us to understand the physical world to a high degree, or to the degree that it is. From splitting the atoms down to catching a football, we understand how physical space works. I don't think that women understand that much. Although, like I said earlier, they have man in them enough to do things to a certain degree, but you have to be a man, a male, with the hormones of a male and the mindset, the narrow mindset, linear mindset, rational mindset of a man, to be able to break down physical reality to the degree that men have done. Women have problems with that. Now, they have their own strengths, so I'm not bashing you women. I'm just saying this is the strength of a man. The strength of a man is his understanding of physical reality, his mental merging into the physical reality, into the physical world, the tactical, material things of the world. In doing that, and applying his creativity, which has a feminine component to it, allows him to create music, art, science, a plethora of spiritual understandings that are hidden in the universe. You name it. Everything in the world is created by that narrow, violent man that feminists hate so much. I think that feminists point out violence is because they're trying to brainwash males to think that all violence, to reject all violence, even natural, beneficial violence, to turn away from aggression and wanting to attack the physical world or merge into the physical world and control it. They don't know what they're asking for. All creation will stop at that point. If all men, let's suppose all men were feminized and thought like women. First of all, we wouldn't have an urge to go, to get women. All of that will go away. We'll just be nice and girly. They wouldn't like that. And they're not liking it now as more men are becoming feminized. But what else will fuck up? All creation and creativity will stop. Everything will stop. But it's not. Thank God it's not going to stop. Because you cannot defeat nature that quickly. So the violent, aggressive nature, the beneficial violence, the natural cosmic violence of man, and his beneficial aggression will continue. Only it will start, I think, in the future, starting very now with Mikto and other thoughts of liberation. He will start to apply men will start to apply their violent, aggressive nature to deciphering the cosmos within. Deciphering the cosmos within their mind. They will start to, instead of having a chair, imagining a chair and building it, projecting that imagination into the physical world and building a chair, they're going to start imagining a new man and go inward to construct the ultimate man. And women won't be able to see him. They will wonder, what kind of man is this? I predict that the men of the future, if we don't kill each other and blow each other up with contextual violence, if we can stop contextual violence, of political violence and racial violence and religious violence, and only use universal, beneficial, natural violence and aggression, I think that the new man will be so beautiful to women, even though he may not be focusing on sexuality as like he is now, which is such a strong point because he would become mostly non-physically driven. He would be mentally and spiritually driven. That man will be more beautiful and more desired than any type of man around now. The woman will look at the quantum man as, that's home. I have to be with him. That man fulfills something I do not have. Now, on the other side of the coin, the quantum woman, we will feel the same way about her. We have to go home with her. We have to unify with her. But I think in this conflict of ideas, in this battle of the sexes, that the war has to be fought. This war of ideas has to be fought. Although there are many casualties playing itself out in the social world, casualties of divorce and casualties of heartache and heartbreak. I think once this is done, and men have been pushed out of this world, out of this contextual bubble, and they are forced to find themselves who they really are, I think that we will become incredibly human. We will become more human. We will become what we should be. All what we should have been, what we could have been, had we have not been taken over by contextual bubbles of religion and politics and other ideas thrust in our minds. That's why it's so important for an individual man to go his own way and just shrug off all things that bother him, that prevents him from being ultimate man. Shrug off the desire for female appreciation. Shrug off the desire to fit into a political realm. Those things will have an effect on you, especially the female desire part, because that's part of your body. You can't deny that. But the quantum man will easily control his animal urge. Easily. Because he'll recognize it as I won't say lower, he will recognize its place. Your animal urge is this much of you, just like your body is this much of you. The real you is this big, or infinite, rather. And I think Quantum Man, or the goal of MGTOW, is to allow you to be able to control that little part of you called your sexual desire, call your ego, call your desire to be wanted, or your desire to fit in. You will be a leader, and other people will follow you because you will be just that noble. It is the height of nobility, I think, to be a man going your own way. Not just in a bubble, but a man going his ultimate way. And that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. Now, this video is getting long. I'm about to stop it. Thank you for listening. Leave a comment. I'll try to reply, ask a question, try to answer. So, thank you.